2024 has been full of surprises for me. First things first, this channel started getting some traction, and I never really expected it to be honest. I was just creating this channel and kind of posting once in a while, just in a hope that I could look back on my journey while documenting it and just see how far I've come. To me, that's fascinating. Like when I look back on my older videos, it's 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 almost like I don't even recognize that person anymore, right? And sometimes it's also embarrassing, which is part of the reason why I'm kind of been thinking about privating those videos, the older ones at least, because now they're the people who they are the people who can see these videos apart from just me, um, and that's something that is uncomfortable. But what I realized is like a lot of you guys might be in the same situation that I was like a maybe like a year ago, right? So I don't think like the reason why I'm not going to be privating those videos or removing them is because I think it gives people hope when you see that natural progression of you know how this person was exactly how I am, and then they got to that level, right? Whatever that level is. I don't think $10,000 a month is anything, to be honest. So I don't mean to put that on a pedestal, uh, but if you are putting that on a pedestal, I just want you to know that, like when you're climbing through those stairs, like when you're working day in day out, maybe you just got done sending outreach, or maybe you have to still do the outreach for the next day. Um, so I mean, that's where the joy comes in, because now that I'm here, I've hit that number, whatever, doesn't matter. Um, like, I feel the exact same way. I don't feel any more, maybe fulfilled or anything like that. I still have, like, the goalpost keeps changing. So now my goal is to hit $100,000 a month. So, and I'm sure when I hit $100,000 a month, my goal would be to get to a million a month or like $400,000 a month. So that it never really changes. The goalpost, it keeps on moving. So where the joy really comes in is in the process of hitting it, in the process of evolving and becoming like the next version of yourself. That's what I've realized looking back. That's where the joy is, and but I think having that illusion, especially when you're just starting out, is very it's necessary. Because if you just knew that, okay, after I hit $10,000 a month, it's going to be the exact same. Nobody's going to go through that shit and that pain that they have to go through to become the person who can hit $10,000 a month. If that makes sense, right? So yeah, that was the first big surprise for me uh, on January so far. It's just having getting this traction super out of the blue. I don't know why, but the second big surprise, which is on the agency standpoint, that recently happened. So I this is insane. So I recently hopped on a call with one and only Joel Kaplan. I'm sure if you're in the agency space, you probably know who he is. If not, like if you're living under a rock, you can search him up. He's probably the biggest guy in the space. So the reason why I got a chance to hop on a one-on-one call with him, because I'm in his program, Agency Lab, for some mentorship and coaching. Which, if you guys have the money, the best thing you can invest that in is in your own coaching and mentorship and learning, and investing in yourself to become better. So that's what I've done. I'm in this program, um, and when I hopped on that one-on-one call with him, the biggest thing that I wanted to ask and just get more clarity on was my market. Like, was am I in the right boat? If you heard of the Warren Buffett quote, it's it doesn't matter how fast you row, it matters what boat you're in, and the boat signifies the market that you're in. So I always had this hunch because the niche that I scaled my agency in to $10,000 a month, it's not something that's proven. It's like a very weird niche. Um, so the niche, for some context, is I scaled in the interior design niche, which is kind of like a subset of the home improvement niche. Um, and in a nutshell, Joel recommended me to get out of this industry, right? Because it has like first things first. My objective of this video is to not to get you to switch if you're in a home improvement niche or something similar. That's not the point. The reason why that's like an optimal advice for me, and Joe talks about this a lot as well. So there's there's advice that is general and there's advice that is optimal. Like in my scenario, the reason why switching was an optimal choice was because I had already proven to myself that I could be disciplined and I could do the work to hit $10,000 a month, and it didn't really make sense for me to keep fighting that uphill battle in a niche that was not proven. So, what he recommended me to do is to optimize for the next 5 years of my life and go into a market that was much more proven, so that if I put the work in, I would get the result, right? Because there's two type of risk if you're pursuing any sort of business or any sort of opportunity, any sort of like any path really, right? The first risk is the execution risk, which is on you as a person, right? Execution risk is essentially, can you actually execute on what needs to be done for you to succeed with that whatever path that you're following. The second type of risk is the opportunity risk. The opportunity risk is essentially like if you so the opportunity risk is essentially what boat you're in. That's essentially the best way to explain that. That's something that's out of your control. And the one thing that I wanted to get out of that call was, am I in the right opportunity or not? And since I already had kind of that stack of proof behind me that I could do what I wanted to do, kind of execute on that, I had that permission to switch. So if you're in a niche that is maybe similar to something like this, maybe you're in architects or uh, anything of that nature, and you're now thinking you're switching, that's not a lesson of this, right? So if you're in like an architects or anything that's not that proven yet, I want you to persevere and just build a stack of proof with yourself that you can stick to something and succeed with that before you switch, right? Because once you have that stack of proof and you when you go back to zero, like I'm going to be doing that now, even though I have some clients in this niche, I'm kind of going back to zero, right? So I'm taking like one step back to take two steps forward. But if you're in the same boat, like if you already have a stack of proof, that's when it makes sense. But if you're just using this video as an excuse to get out of this niche and just not face the shit that you have to face, which is in any niche, like if I go to this new niche, obviously I have to do the same exact things, right? But my market won't be against me. That's the only difference. You have to do the work in any niche. The work doesn't go away. You just have to stick to something and just prove to yourself that you can be the person that you want to be before you make any rash decisions, I guess. So that was my two biggest surprises as well in January. It's been wild. Looking forward to seeing what the rest of the year holds for me. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, reach out to me. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. You have a good one.